Ladies and gentlemen, I feel both Shiva and Shakti inside me today. Talking about follow through, on how it's actually flowing through. Let's get it.
Yeah. I'm inspired. I'm inspired.
Hey there guys, how's it going? My name is Sumit Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I'm here to help you feel better and perform better. And I'm here to speak on Valentine's Day about a topic that is very, very important. Okay? Follow through. In your business, in your relationships, in your health, there's a lack of follow through. You start something, but you don't finish it. You're not a closer. I used to struggle from this a lot. Growing up, I didn't even know what finishing something meant. Right? I would constantly leave loops open in my mind, projects open in my mind, and I would never actually close them. I would never actually confirm and finish and add the full stop to that storyline or narrative. I would keep the narrative dragging on, eventually scattering my subconscious mind with all this information and getting me very confused as to where I'm actually going. So integration is the first step, is to integrate and combine and to overlap all of your interests and things together from one general theme. When you can put a theme around it, when you can put a motif around something, when you can understand that there's a certain flavor or vibe in something and you can carry that through, and you can be more of a vibration, as my mentor says, rather than a person, then you can actually thrive, right? In all of these interactions, we're looking for that deep level of empathy and intimacy. Now, to some of you guys, that might sound, overly feminine. However, this is very important. This is not an art form where we're just being masculine. We have to allow ourselves to embrace our inner femininity as men as well, right? That tenderness, that compassion, that playfulness, that creativity, that once we combine with the yang, strong center, you become the integrated man, or the superior man, as David Data says. Once you understand that the power of follow through is flowing through, okay? There's no resistance. When there's more resistance, you're not going to follow through. When you feel like there's no true sense of intimacy or connection or trust, you're going to push it away. The more deeper trust, and also the trust that you have with yourself, is going to come through in those activities where you need to follow through and you need to actually take action on them, okay? Stop keeping everything for the future, you see. When you keep everything for the future, you are constantly in anxiety. When you are in presence, you are in the now, you are in spirituality, okay? Therefore, spirituality is the cure to anxiety. Start to understand this, because this is a very, very powerful concept that I'm sharing with you today. Once you have an understanding that everything is mind, you try to keep your mind as neutral as possible. You don't try to overburden your mind or find certain, negative or positive charges. You get to this neutrality, and that's where you can get into the flow. When you're not attaching different storylines to things, you're not overemphasizing things, you're not judging or assuming things, you're not adding layers of emotion on top of each other to confuse yourself in your own mind, but you're simply resting and being and understanding the power that if there is suffering, as Bodhidharma would say, if there is suffering, as activating your Buddhahood, because that's also a reminder that you can attain some wisdom from that suffering, which is why that suffering has shown up. You're there to learn something from that suffering. So first of all, we've got to understand the difference between empathy and sympathy. Sympathy is showing basically a respect for another person and kind of, sympathizing with them. Oh, they've been through something rough. Empathy is feeling through their feelings as if you're in their shoes, so you're seeing from their eyes. This is a way more powerful technique. Empathy is a way more powerful technique because you actually see things from their perspective. You're not just adding your layer of what you think is the feeling and projecting it onto another person, but you're actually going into their shoes, going in and peering through their eyes. How does that other person see you? Go into their world and have them see you from the outside. This out-of-body exercise can really, really help you even adjust your characteristics and how you actually want to appear and be actually in front of this person. You got to assume the burden of having a conversation with a complete stranger. You optimize your frame of reality or your narrative that it is a safe encounter, that you can be trusted, that you are a wonderful communicator, right? And so in the beginning, yes, you are going to have to push and guide the conversation forward, right? You got to break the ice in a sense. How much does a polar bear weigh? Enough to break the ice, right? Hey, I know it's a little weird for me to just come up and start talking to you. Boom, just that. You're entering empathy. You're entering her world or his world, and you're going, okay, I wonder what they're thinking right now. Who is this person? So you're speaking to their listening. You're going into their world and speaking it back. You're understanding that that's where the deep empathy happens. That's where intimacy and connection happens. It's not to do that to just point out your own insecurities either, right? I see a lot of men and they're just saying like, oh, you know, I'm always the nervous guy, or I'm the nerdy dude, or I'm the blah, blah, blah. Dude, cut that out. Stop labeling yourself. Let her label you. Don't try to talk. You have to get the other person to open up and talk. Don't just blabber words and yell at someone and hope your communication lands and is effective, right? It's got to be effective already with guiding questions, with proper enunciation, with proper frame control or narrative control, so that they open up and they feel comfortable in that situation, okay? You're assuming their burden of starting a conversation and you're giving comments. Like, I'm probably the 18th guy to come talk to you tonight, probably. It's very, very different than if you start a conversation like, excuse me, is someone sitting here? Do you mind if I sit down? Rather than just going, sorry, I'm late, you know, sitting down, just kidding, what's up? Is it cool if I sit here? That's the right time to say, is it cool if I sit here? Even if you just want that little bit of a confirmation check or that compliance, right? It's about being mindful of the situation, what they're feeling, what they're going through. They might have just gone through a divorce or a horrible thing, and you're out here trying to have a jolly old conversation with them. Okay, that's not gonna work. So at times, don't let the rejection affect you directly. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with that other person. Don't get wrapped up in your head about like, oh no, they're rejecting me and all of me, right? The holistic field that is me, they have cut it away from my vicinity forever. Okay, don't get into this mentality, because really it's a proper time exchange, energy exchange, money exchange, whatever relationship you're creating. Even a business encounter, the exchange is based on money. However, I just wanted to base this understanding that you got to have transformational relationships over transactional relationships, okay? Transformational relationships is what you should aspire for this Valentine's Day or whatever, right? I think every day is Valentine's Day, straight up. So once you understand that a relationship is there for support, is there for growth, somebody who helps you to grow is what relationships are there for. Someone who's keeping you stagnant and in the same place, that's not a solid relationship. I'm sorry. You can try to prove it to yourself however many times you want, but that is a transactional thing that's going on. This is not some kind of sugar baby, sugar daddy relationship, right? Where there's a transaction happening. This is actually transformational. You're giving and learning from each other, essentially. Giving and receiving, student and teacher, each one switching roles, understanding that you're there to be each other's student and each other's teacher in a relationship, even in a business transaction, man. Yes, I understand in a business it is transactional, but wouldn't it be great if your business could be transformational at the same time, where you could actually help each other grow as business owners, as people, right? As entrepreneurs. Like, that is a great mindset to have. It's a collaborative mindset. And once you understand this, it really helps you with your follow through, because your follow through has got to be aligned with your flow. Your flow state is what is alignment at its core. So when you are aligned with the end result, the follow through is easy, but you've got to love your product. In the case of dating, the product is you. So you got to love yourself immensely, immensely. You got to be in that narrative of I am amazing, and I want to share my amazingness with this other person. You're attracted to me, aren't you? That's okay. What's going on? I want you to start becoming overly cocky or arrogant in this situation, but there is this level of competence, right? Competence is attractive. When you can be competent in something to the nth degree of that field that you wish to master, you are tapping into a flow state lifestyle, but you're also becoming a magnet for experiences. See, a lot of guys, they're applying techniques, they're doing everything right, but there's no follow through. There's always a last minute hesitation. There's always a dropping of willpower. There's always an insecurity coming back. There's always a self-sabotage, something like this. You see, I understand that every single state that I feel internally is beneficial to me. I know that even if I'm lacking sleep, which I am, you can clearly tell from working so hard, that even then I'm going to have an insightful conversation. I'm still going to see clients. I'm still going to get results. Because that's really the mentality of the person who is closing or following through. Ultimately, it all comes down to your self-belief. How much do you believe in you? How much do you believe in you? If you don't believe in yourself that much, it's time to start working on your self-belief. What are some ways that you can do this? Put yourself into different situations that stretch your comfort zone. Definitely. Doing mirror work, doing affirmations, doing a mind, body, spirit practice or practices. There's so many things that you could be doing, right? I'm sure you've sent messages to people where you just completely dropped it. This is a lack of follow through. I've struggled with this. All of us struggle with this, We get busy. That's just it. Our minds become scattered and we continue on with whatever we're doing. So the thing about this art form is to make a person feel like they are important. If you are missing that key ingredient, you're not going to have that level of follow through and you're not going to have that level of intimacy. You're not like gassing them up all the time, but what you are doing is you're making them feel valid. You're making them feel reliable. You're making them feel like they're an important component to your life. And the attention you place on them is demonstrating that, because you yourself are a VIP, a very important person. Okay? So your attention should demonstrate this in some way. Your attention is demonstrating that I'm giving you attention, you must be important. I don't give my attention to people who are not important in my life. This is the beauty of really calibrating your life and creating it like an echo chamber. And yes, you will get stressed, there will be chaos. Can you hold space? Can you be the calm at the center of that storm, in a sense? And once you understand these principles, follow through is going to be a lot easier. What happens is you might start to visualize more as the end result starts happening. And then from there, you are reverse engineering. All right, guys, I hope this helps you out today, gives you a different perspective. Have an incredible day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. Follow through and flow through.